It's a budgeting year in Minnesota, so we're gonna bake a cake. Think of Minnesota's budget as a really expensive cake. How expensive? Well, roughly $50 billion. The governor and legislators have to set a new general fund budget in place every 2 years. To do this, they have to get their ingredients in place. And to pay for those, they use a mix of taxes and fees paid by Minnesotans. So thanks for that. But how much money they have to spend depends on how the economy is doing. The governor and legislators depend on 2 economic forecasts in February and November. Those can show either extra money on the bottom line or a hole in the state budget, so adjust accordingly. The state budget is made up of a bunch of different ingredients. State schools and education programs make up the largest part of the budget, followed by health and human services programs, and things like the courts, public safety, parks and trails, and more. But not everybody wants the same things. By law, the governor puts their budget out first, usually in January or February. They get to chart out their priorities and set the tone for the debate all session long. After the February forecast, the Minnesota legislature gets to work. The House passes their budget, and so does the Senate. But the legislature can only send one budget to the governor, so they head into the conference committee and work out their differences. Once that's done, they end up with a compromise budget that incorporates ideas from both chambers. Now they can send it off to the governor. But it's important to remember that governors can push the plate away. Governors have the veto power, meaning that they can take the budget as is, they can take just a slice or two, or they can nix the entire thing. This gives the legislatures some incentive to incorporate some of the governor's favorite ingredients. That's a lot of sprinkles. Now, there's a deadline for this entire process. Ideally, the legislature and the governor will come to an agreement by the end of session in May. But if they don't do that, the governor can call the legislature back into a special session to try to work out their disagreements. But remember, the 2-year budget runs out after June 30th of every odd-numbered year. Lawmakers are constitutionally required to get a new budget before that, or state government will shut down. It's happened in Minnesota before, twice. But if everything goes well, it's a delicious state budget. Really, really good. Really good. I can't believe I made this.